Hi guys, my name is Barry and welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to be doing a review for Annabelle from 2014 as part of the Conjuring universe in the lead up to The Nun 2. And as you can see, I will be reviewing these movies in theatrical order, not chronological order. So this is the second one in the franchise, and it's also the first of the Spawn movies. This movie takes place in 1967, which is 4 years before the Perron family incident, and this one isn't directed by James Wan. However, it does still feel like a James Wan style movie, and that's probably because it came out a year after The Conjuring, so I think they wanted to try and replicate the success of the first movie. Something I was very surprised about at the beginning of the movie was tying in the Manson family style killings at the start, the kind of ritualistic cult. For me, the Manson family story was scary. I read it as a kid. I was a teenager when I read about the case, and I read a lot about it, the incidents that happened, the survivors talking about it, and it scared me for years. I couldn't sleep for years. But when I saw something similar on screen, I was hooked at the same time, but I was like, wow, this moment in time in the movie, this is pretty damn good. And of course, as well as that, anything that involves a pregnant woman or babies with the Manson family style killings, it's just very scary, very intriguing, but very scary. Similar to The Conjuring, we've got some really good intense build-up scenes. Yes, there's a little bit more cheaper jump scares. There's probably more jump scares in Annabelle than there was in The Conjuring, and it was a mixture of really good build-up scenes and just off-the-cuff jump scares that I didn't like. Now, I think the consensus for Annabelle was it was a major step down from The Conjuring, and it's a shame for Annabelle because you're going to compare the previous movie to the movie that you just saw, and that's the reason it's a shame for Annabelle. It didn't get a really good reception. I, for one, enjoyed it, but I can see the issues that people had with it, and one of the issues is the jump scares. Now, I do like some of the build-up jump scares with the when she's going to put the rubbish in, was it the attic or the downstairs? Up or downstairs anyway, and she saw the buggy at the end of the hall, and then the demon chasing her and things like that. Those were good build-ups, but then it was followed up by some really cheap jump scares. So I had a mixture of both good and bad style jump scares. If we look at the score, again, it's just as good as The Conjuring, to be honest. I think the score was what made some of the parts of the movies great. You know, there's some really good scenes that wouldn't really work without that score. And it goes the same with the acting as well. You know, the characters that we had in this movie, I really felt for and I was invested in, similar to The Conjuring. And I think it does benefit this movie for being out so soon after The Conjuring, because they took everything that was great about The Conjuring and tried their best with Annabelle. Some of the things just didn't work, but for certain, for me, the characters and the actors that played these characters were all fantastic. One of my biggest issues with Annabelle was seeing how the doll moves. Now, as cool as this scene was, where you see Annabelle standing up and then you see the demon behind her, and that's what orchestrates the movements of the Annabelle doll, it's cool to see. But that's something that I didn't really want to see. I wanted to leave that to my imagination. Yeah, it's cool seeing the demon at some points, but I don't want to see how Annabelle moves about physically, because that takes away some of the mystique of why I liked the movie in the first place. So yes, there's certain things about Annabelle that I thought could be better, and that's certainly one of them. When you look at the Annabelle movie as a whole, yes, like I said, you're going to compare it to the previous film, and as much as it's a major step down to The Conjuring, it's still a really good start for the Annabelle series. Now, again, we didn't know Annabelle was going to spawn sequels of its own, but at the same time, if you looked at Annabelle as a one-off movie, and if The Conjuring didn't even exist, I think people would really enjoy this more than what they do just now. I think people are comparing it harshly to the previous film, and it's not really fair to do that, because Annabelle, on its own merits, stands on its own 2 feet. It's a really good film. That's one of the reasons why it made a lot of money at the box office. And I know that you shouldn't take everyone's opinion seriously, but at the same time, there's so many people that didn't like this film. It's unbelievable. Now, I know that some people think, yeah, it's okay, it's fine, which is good. But there are some people that say this movie is terrible, and I can't see it. The beginning of this movie itself was worth the price of admission, but even after that, we get more of the lore of Annabelle, more than maybe that we expected, to be honest. And I can see that with the way this film ended, it felt like there was nowhere else to go for Annabelle, which is probably why we got a prequel later on, which we'll discuss. But yes, I think the film backed itself into a corner at times, but there is enough material there to go, do you know what? We can do something bigger and better the next time. But at the same time, the start was still good. So what are your thoughts on Annabelle, guys? You can be honest if you want. Like I said, I know there's a lot of people that don't like it, but leave your thoughts and opinions down below. Let me know what you think of it. If you didn't like it, let me know why, because I'd like to know personally why some people don't like the movie. And as always, guys, thanks a lot for watching, thanks for subscribing, and I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.
To get you, Barbara.
Ever played in the cat?
Someone's in the back seat! Tell me where you are, John!
Wolfman's got